Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Katie Alina, and today I'm going to be making art with tarot cards. Now, I'm not going to cut up these cards and make them into a sculpture or anything, but I am going to talk a little bit about the cards themselves and make a character based on the stories we can find within the cards themselves. The first thing I want to say though is that these cards are made by CatRocketShip, which you can find their work over on Etsy or on Instagram. And they are a little bit different. Normally tarot will show things like the suits, pentagrams, cups, wands, and swords. But I believe this one is mugs, swords, canes, and coins. So I'll be using that terminology as that is what CatRocketShip had designed these cards to be. Now these are a tool, I want to say. A lot of the times people say things or understand tarot as a witchcraft sort of thing, and that can be true. I personally have been using tarot cards since 2010, and I studied under Mary Hudson of Syracuse University Spiral Affinity for a whole year, and we've been friends ever since. And yes, a lot of religious, pagan and Wiccan practices will use tarot cards, but the point of them is really a tool, as I was saying, to be able to tell a story. So I will be using these today to show you guys how to access that fool's journey sort of overarching story to be able to design a character and just find another way to be inspired. So again, the tarot cards, they might look kind of strange, they might look a little creepy and spooky, but they really are just a way to tell your stories. They're another way to access your story. So here we go. Like I was saying before, tarot cards are a tool, much like a pencil is a tool. It itself is not artwork. You can make art with it in the same way that you can make stories with tarot cards. There are two ways that the cards are broken down. One is the suit cards, and the suits, like I was explaining before, in this deck are going to be mug, sword, cane, and coin. The other piece of the puzzle is the major arcana, and major arcana, and I'm just going to fish one out of the deck for you guys, are the bigger cards that are numbered. So this one is 11, which is justice. And I won't get into the meaning of them right now, as I will pull them for our character later to figure out different pieces of their personality, their lives, how they will appear. But yes, the justice is a major arcana. Other ones, like this, is the two of knives. That's a suit card. And so each thing has a little bit of a different way that you would read them. These are big energy cards. They mean a lot more to the story. This is actually part of the fool's journey. Whereas the two of knives is going to be, say, a chapter in the story. This is a whole novel. This is a whole book on a path. Now, that's kind of a hard comparison because you can write a whole novel just by reading some tarot cards. You can write a short story just by reading some tarot cards and kind of tapping into the energy and the story that is told through symbolism. Now, we are all artists, and a lot of the times subconsciously our characters will already be designed with different symbols. We could use specific colors to convey meaning, such as villains wearing a lot of purple and black depending upon the genre, and heroes often being dressed in bright green, like in The Legend of Zelda, or rich characters being dressed in robes of bright blue to signify wealth, that sort of thing. And it affects our art because we understand as an audience that certain things convey a certain meaning. And that's what I'm going to be working with here with the tarot. So let me go ahead and just shuffle these up once again. And we'll start to pick some cards for our character. Okay. So I'm going to address a couple things first before I start this. One of the things that people tend to get worried about regarding the tarot is that they'll summon something. I'm here to tell you that they're only going to summon an awesome character, I promise. These are just little pieces of cardstock with beautiful artwork on them, and whatever's on the other side of them. It doesn't matter whether there's anything out there spiritually. That's not what this is about. The images, like I was talking about before, will mean something to me as the tarot reader, and to the artist who created this deck, and to you, the viewer, who's going to see these cards and maybe hopefully see where I'm pulling out some character traits from here. All right, so here's the first card. We have the King of Mugs. And I'm just going to make sure you guys can see all the details here. The King of Mugs is, well, looks like he's got a throne and amazing pot of coffee. He looks like he's on his own. Looks like he's contemplating something. There's a lot of water in this card. There is some imagery of fish. There's imagery of being stagnant and being in the same spot. You can see with the bottom close right here. All right, so we're going to keep that in mind as we move to the next card. Okay, this is a major arcana. This is number 10, the Wheel. Now, some decks will call this the Wheel of Fortune. And so what I'm seeing here, I'm picking up, is that a hand is giving this group a chance, placing them where they need to be. And so I'm going to keep that in mind as I move forward. The next card I'm pulling is yet another major arcana, and this looks a little bit familiar. This is the Justice. This is a card with a lot of imagery, again, of sort of being by oneself and having to make the correct choice. We have the Scales, which, if you know anything about law or have seen some law shows, signifies balance and fairness, and of course justice, doing what's right and being right by somebody who has been victimized. And we see the image of a sword, and we see an image of a crown here, so maybe this is a hero of some kind. That's what I'm gathering, so we're going to keep those images in mind. And the last card I'm going to pull today is the Seven of Coins. I really like this one because it's very simple. We actually don't have a human-like character, well, the skeleton-like character available to pull any sort of imagery from. We do have Ivy, and we have 7 coins, 7 choices, 7 different paths. So I'm going to go ahead and keep those images in mind as well. So ahead of us we have the King of Mugs, the Wheel, or the Wheel of Fortune, the Justice, and the 7 of Coins. So the first card we have is, again, the King of Mugs. And this is someone who has to keep a level head regarding negativity, perhaps. Perhaps that feeling of loneliness, somebody who is to be relied upon when things are difficult, because they've proven that they've had a level head and that this person can use their intelligence and experience to proceed forward. This is somebody who is used to having to work alone and having to be that rock for other people. The next card, as I mentioned, is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is a reminder that what goes around comes around. So this is somebody who, like I said before, this is somebody who has a lot of emotional maturity, who understands that if you put out a lot of positivity and you put out the best effort you possibly can, you will get that back. This is a opportunity to show kindness and to become better. The next card is the Justice, as I've said before. And this is a person who fights for what is fair and what is good. And if we tie this back into somebody who tries to do the best by everyone around them and tries to take all opportunity to be a loving, caring person, and who has the emotional maturity and strength to be alone and to be a rock in times of turmoil, this all sort of is tying together, in my opinion, into a really kind of neat character. The last card is the 7 of Coins, and this one has to do with abundance. This is somebody who has a lot to give, not just in terms of money. Perhaps this is a hero who has won a lot of money, maybe a retired hero, or maybe somebody who is a little bit famous, a little bit reserved, but somebody who also has a lot of knowledge to share as well, which we can see with the Ivy strands in here. At least that's what I view Ivy as. So our character is going to be maybe a little bit older. I'm gathering that again because of the emotional maturity and the person who has always fought for justice and who's always tried to give opportunities to others and has a lot of success to be able to look back at and to share. Another thing I want to share about the tarot is that each suit has elements. The mugs or cup suit is water. The coins is earth. Both of those are feminine in the terms of tarot elements. So I'm thinking, even though this is a king of mugs, I might go ahead and draw a queen. And I think that would really suit her. So if you'd like to come along for the ride, I'm going to go ahead and speed up this film a little bit and go ahead and create our tarot queen here. And I'll paint her in with watercolor at the end. Now, one of the things I did not find in these cards is what, let's go ahead and just use some D&D terms. I didn't find out what race or class this queen is going to be, so it's going to be a surprise. And I think I have a pretty good idea of what I want it to be, just based on the images here. I'm thinking maybe a druid queen, but I'm not going to say what race it is yet. We'll find out. But I really like this calm energy that this reading has given, and I really like that this is going to be a calm character, because a lot of times on this channel specifically, we see a lot of high-powered epic battles, and maybe it's just time for someone to relax and be able to be a voice of reason here and a voice of gentleness and encouragement, and maybe not be somebody who's about to have another epic battle. Maybe an epic battle of the wits. We'll go with that. Alright, so kick back, relax, enjoy the music, and enjoy the artwork. And there we have it, folks. This is the painting that I made out of the tarot cards that we had pulled earlier. And I'm not angry with it, honestly. I wanted to go for a few things that I pulled from the tarot cards, which I will go over real fast here at the end. The first thing is I wanted to make note of the very muted color palette that I have here. It's a nice, cool, muted color palette, as are these tarot cards, where we have just a little bit of warmth, as we have that kind of matches the skin tone here. And the rest is like a tealish, bluish line in the background of some, it looks like pen or ink drawings. So I did want to kind of bring that aspect to this painting as well. Of course, because of the way that I had read the cards earlier, I wanted to still include some sort of floral and ivy sort of adornment for this character. So I did tie in a little bit of green to kind of brighten it up a little bit, but here it is. And like I said, I'm not mad. I think it turned out, fairly good, considering I have not been trying humans for very long, at least since I restarted my art habit. So here it is. This is the Elven Druid Queen character that we created from 4 tarot cards. So yeah, I think this was a really fun experiment. I think next time, if I were to do this again, I would try maybe to not just create a character, but try and create like a mini story, maybe a scene from a comic or something like that, to kind of really show how we can push our creativity by using other tools and finding inspiration in strange places. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!